Recently, South African audiences were treated to the doyen of Indian classical vocals, Pandit Jasraj, who headlined 3 Shades of Raga, a festival of Indian classical music. Let's take you on a musical journey that will leave you mesmerized.
Three Shades of Raga is the musical journey of the North Indian Hindustani classical repertoire, headlined by the doyen of Indian classical vocals, Pandit Jasraj.
Jai Ho. His concept is wonderful because color of 3 ragas. So he put three person, one after another. Sarod, violin, vocal, and that's a absolutely right thing, and it's beautiful concept, and for me I liked it very much. I have to say that audience was wonderful. How inspire comes through audience. If you invite him, he very happily he comes. You have to believe it. So it's my strong belief that God comes whenever you invite. If your relation with Guru, if it's wonderful, then you will be wonderful artist. I have a grace of God, many students which they can play, they can sing, and they can make you 3 hours. You can't move from here. If you don't pass on your knowledge to your shishya, to your disciple, God will not be happy. So if you pass on your knowledge, God is there.
What we've seen, a fusion of the old and the new, bring to us something that just fits everyone's palette, the young and old, and everyone is just so integral. And of course there was Mr. Ken Zuckerman, who's extremely talented. And of course Panditji, there's no word to describe him. If you get to know him personally, there's a kind of simplicity and a humility that you see in him that can only be found in someone who has really reached the divine. And of course when you watch him perform, he is totally enwrapped in his music, and he engages with you in such a level that you also become enwrapped in that. And one of the beautiful things that he does is that before he starts the performance, he says, I salute the divine in everybody. And that immediately says that he's not just performing to you, but the divine in you, and that uplifts his performance to a totally different level.
I think I always felt a spiritual character in music. It was, I couldn't name it. It was wordless, but it was definitely an inner experience. And what I came up with in Indian music was the discovery that here is a whole system where all of these things I couldn't talk about, I didn't have a vocabulary for, were an integral part of the music. The spirituality, the improvisation, the deep roots, it was all there. It was like I was looking for that system all along. There's no limit to the depth that you can go to and reach in Indian music in that sense, because the raga, that kind of structure that we embrace and try to discover our whole lives, is endless. And as deep as we go, we discover more and more riches to it. So that's the ultimate spirituality, is that to give oneself up to the raga and makes a connection with something infinite, in fact.
Indian classical music takes us back within and enables us to explore ourselves as individuals, and it is music that brings out our individuality. So music is a great form of expression. It says the things that are never said, and that is what classical music is all about.
fundamentally the basics of sound and music is played out tonight to us. It's going back to the traditional old instruments of India and the music. The tones that are coming out are something that we don't hear in the normal life of Bollywood. It is absolutely art of India in terms of its music and I think it's great for the younger generation to see something of this caliber, because it gives us a very solid background and foundation of our musical lifestyle and history.
I think it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Coming from a music family, always been exposed to classical Indian music, I really enjoyed it, and something here in Johannesburg, Gauteng, I think that's what we needed.
Unbelievable performances, and even the approach, and definitely we should have much more of these in the country, and people need to get exposure to this type of music. And it's only really by coming to a concert which you really get to understand what classical Indian music is about.
Well, I've been with the tour throughout. We began in Durban and then in Cape Town, and this is our finale in Johannesburg. I am prepared to bet that South African audiences are the finest, and almost it's like they're ready-made for Indian music. I think South Africa is unique anyway in terms of its history, and I think the mix of cultures and people here is such that this must be a natural home for Indian music, mustn't it?
Music is said to be a universal language, and after watching this insert, I couldn't agree more.